we get into early next week, things will start to be a little more seasonal, but not until then. Today, sunshine, 88 this afternoon, south wind at 5 to 15, 59 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 88. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 85. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Outside now, it's 55.
Morning to you. It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. The mighty 1630 KCJJ. Captain Steve, Jim Hunter, and we are joined by County Board of Supervisor Rod Sullivan.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Rod. How you doing?
Great.
Coming up this week, there's a rally at the Fed Mall in downtown Iowa City.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about free speech, and I really appreciate the invitation to come out here from you, Steve, because I think this is the perfect place to talk about it. I was in the car and pulling up out here, and you were talking about a congresswoman having her head up the president's ass. I think that's a pretty good example.
Well, I mean, it used to be diversity was good, inclusion was good. I mean, Social Security was good. The word entitlement meant you were entitled to it. It wasn't a woke civil rights term from the 60s meant to be aware. Yeah. Be aware of your rights. Be aware of what's going on around you. Now it's all been turned into a negative.
I mean, all demonized. Yeah. It's a really tough time for people that are trying to live a good life and try to succeed. An interview I just read from somebody said it's like people are just hanging by their fingernails off a window ledge right now, just trying to survive.
Well, and it's been really interesting in trying to set this up on relatively short notice. I really got a taste of how important this rally I think is, because there were a lot of people. I talked to a lot of university people because they're experts, and I wanted to have a couple experts talk.
Sure.
And they said, I can't do it. I'm afraid for my job.
Ugh. And
that's exactly what these guys try to do when they crack down on free speech, is make you afraid, make you think that, if I say this, I'm going to lose my job, and people just can't afford that.
Well, and they're trying, it's not a false narrative. They are trying to fire people. They're looking through their social media, and this is an attack. Well, it's an attack on education, it's an attack on science, and it's an attack on free speech. We saw that these corporations like Skydance that bought Paramount and Disney, who's trying to sell off things and get along with the government, what they can do. Take a perfect, a harmless statement and twist it, the MAGA people, and make it something that it wasn't, and then you ban a show, a highly popular show, because you didn't like what the guy said. No, this country is in trouble.
And one of the things. In trying to prepare for this, I've been kind of scouring the internet, and you can go down some real rabbit holes scouring the internet. But, the most important thing, fighting things like that are places like KCJJ that are locally owned, where there's not some corporate person pulling the strings. I mean, not only do I get local news here, which it's the only place you can find out what happened over the weekend or whatever, but nobody's telling Steve what to say. Well,
some people say, here's what you ought to do, Steve. And Steve takes that direction. He loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But between those two things, I mean, we got to have more of that. You don't know what's happening, and then the different voices just get silenced.
Right. That's part of free speech, is to hear different voices. And you may not agree with them, but by the same token, you should be aware of them. What other people are saying, what other people believe, what other people think. I think it makes us more tolerant of other people if we know where they're coming from.
Yeah, and we're we're all old enough to remember. I do think that sometimes, I think it's much, much worse on the right, but I think the left can be guilty of this too. And we're all old enough to remember the Nazis getting to march in Skokie. Nobody liked that, but I think everybody respected the fact that the rules applied evenly to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you've got so much now that is, we talked about it earlier, it's a cesspool on social media. It seriously is. The algorithms point you toward rage. People go home at night. 4.5 million people every night turn on Fox to get angry. I mean, I don't get it, but they do, and they do get angry. And then the narrative is being driven by an irresponsible leader. Well, the church that was attacked. A guy did it. He had a gun. Set fire to the church. And then the narrative comes out before any investigation whatsoever. The church is still burning. It's an attack on Christianity. Maybe it's just a nut.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a guy that had, something bad happened to him in the church or something that he perceived. Maybe it's not an attack on Christianity whatsoever. But, I mean, that's the narrative that's being driven. And for some reason, people like to think that they're being attacked, that they're the underdog, that life hasn't treated them the way they should. And the first thing that goes once you have a group of people like that is they don't want to hear the other side. They don't want to hear they don't want to hear the truth. And there goes your freedom of speech. You can speak all you want, but if it's fallen on deaf ears, that denies its freedom too.
Yeah, I thought, it was interesting, again, as I'm listening to you guys just on the drive out and getting out of the car, talking about Linmar.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel for the teachers there and the administration there, because it can't be easy to do your job knowing that everything you do is being scrutinized like that by somebody who wants to pull your funding and pull this and pull that.
Well, and there's a story in the Gazette this morning about and I don't know how long it's been, over the weekend maybe, about the Trump administration pulling funding from Cedar Rapids schools because of diversity, equity, and inclusion issues there, what they say are issues.
And if you don't have the Cedar Rapids Gazette and you don't have KCJJ, you don't know any of that's happening either.
That's right.
Because there just aren't places to get good, unvarnished local info.
Yeah, we're really lucky that way, that we have. And, of course, the college newspaper does a great job, too, when college is in session. They go out and they report on city council meetings that, a lot of, we don't have the manpower to do anymore, and other things that we were unable to. But this rally on Wednesday, this is on the Ped Mall, correct? And what time do you plan on getting it started?
It's going to start at 5:30. Kind of your standard Ped Mall rally, on the stage there, where the Weather Dance stage, where Friday night concerts are.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, about 5 speakers. I'd like to keep it short. Steve, Jim, and I were talking a little earlier, and some of these rallies, they get it a little long for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can make the point a lot quicker. So we're going to try to keep it short. Plus, it's Yom Kippur, and I'm going to try to let people get home before the sundown. And
oh, sure.
So we're just going to have some folks that really know their stuff about the First Amendment, and they're going to talk and talk about their experiences. And hopefully folks walk away with some ideas of things that they can do, and one of them will be to, check out KCJJ.
Well, I don't want it to be a commercial for KCJJ.
No, but local media is important.
What you found out, I mean, people do have some power over this. People did bring back, very seriously, with their purse, and with their voice, they brought back Kimmel.
Yep.
That wouldn't have happened had not people, rose up. They rose up, and ABC, Disney's very image conscious, and they saw that they were on the losing side of the battle.
Yeah.
And they found out real quick, and so did Nexstar and Sinclair. Sinclair, one of the worst broadcasters in the business, but they found out they were on the losing side of this, and they did buckle under. And it's that voice that should carry to the midterms.
Let's
and we
hope
shouldn't
so.
forget.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah, there's going to be some smart people out there on Wednesday, and I don't know exactly what they're going to say, but I think that clearly a lot of people talk about the First Amendment but don't really fully understand what it says or how it's supposed to work, and so I'm hoping they're going to illuminate that for us a little bit.
Well, I get a kick out of, the Second Amendment was supposed to protect the First. Remember that? And that's why everybody had to have a gun. You got to have a gun, or else they're going to take your country away. And if this isn't a coup that's going on, then they better change the definition, because this is Project 2025 to the letter.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a time for the citizens to stand up and assert their rights and make their voices heard. And a lot of times you walk away from these rallies and you're like, God, this is great that we get all this support and everything. But what actually comes of it? That's always the question.
Well, yeah, I'm going to try to, I've been working on that, trying to come up with a kind of a list of, okay, before you leave here today, here's a few things you can do. And, I've mentioned it several times, but one of them is support good local media. The Cedar Rapids Gazette's doing a pretty good job. You need to spend the money and subscribe there.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't break the bank.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yep, it's important.
Yeah, and we always talk about the blanket is write your congressman, write your representatives, support your local government, because that's where it starts. And I think people hear it so much they tend to not realize how important that is.
Yeah, as a person who's in local government, we really don't hear from that many people. And if you get 10 emails on a topic, people start to shake. It's like, what's going on out there? And it used to be a lot more. So, yeah.
Well, I just can't be told what to do. That's been a problem my whole life. But I think that the station needs to be a sounding box for the community. That's what we're licensed to do. And in this world, in radio, you don't even need a studio in your hometown anymore. I mean, the government got rid of all those requirements that you had to fulfill public service, they got rid of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a quote-unquote competitor that is just a laptop in Cedar Rapids, that it's just not the same thing as having somebody here that actually, and it's curation. I go on the KCJJ Facebook a lot just to see, okay, what couple things have happened in the last 5 or 6 hours. And I can see that either Jim or Tommy, I know they went through a lot of different things, but the stuff that they picked out was the important stuff for me to read.
You've lived here how long now?
Oh, well, the area my whole life, but Iowa City over 40 years.
Can you believe that KXIC is gone?
Yeah.
And this thing still remains?
There's a lot of people saying that, Steve. Tortoise and the hare, I guess.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, we appreciate you coming by at 5:30 on the Ped Mall.
On Wednesday, yep.
And like you said, it's not, you're not asking people to stick around for a couple hours. It's going to be just a rally to support free speech and have some speakers. Can you tell us who you've got lined up?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a constantly changing lineup a little bit, but Sam Helmick from the Iowa City Public Library is
she's outstanding.
Yeah, she's an amazing person, president of the American Library Association, and libraries are key in this fight. State Senator Zach Walz is going to say a few words. There's a professor named Andrew Jordan who's at the law school who is going to talk about First Amendment, what it really means, and a professor named Brett Johnson from the journalism school. So
okay, excellent.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, thanks for coming in. And again, that's Wednesday starting at 5:30 on the Penn Mall.
And right. It's good that for my Jewish friends, it's good that it's happening on Yom Kippur, because Yom Kippur is a time to reflect and to put things in perspective. And this really needs reflection. Hey, thank you.
yeah,
Rod.
thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Mighty 1630.